Celine sounds okay.
Celine has a lot of things that she wants to say,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them are okay. Some of them aren't particularly nice.
She's a little heated.
A little doesn't cover it. She is actually genuinely angry right now.
As opposed to that pseudo angry that she is on a day by day basis.
Yeah.
She's usually calm, cool, and collected, and aloof.
Well, if it helps to break the tension any, if you're heated, we can get you a glass of water, and after drinking it, for a moment, we all realize, or question ourselves, Celine just drank a glass of water and it didn't spill out the side of her face. How does she do that? I can't even answer it, but water doesn't leak out her teeth, so...
It's fine.
Magic. And training.
Always chew your water, kids.
But no, there are a lot of things that Celine could say right now, and not all of them are particularly nice.
Well, I appreciate you keeping it PG-13 for us mortals, then. Any of the rest of you have a personal prompt or a blurb that you want to say? No?
Not particularly. Just still having that discussion. It's circular. So really, it's just a matter of when are we going to resolve this? Question mark.
It's getting difficult because less and less of you have to do mortal things like sleep or eat all the time or, breathe or something like that. So we have some very lengthy discussions ahead of us. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take you back into the council chamber here. There's some discussion. Now, as for time passing, this could still be the same day. Mr. Halvar had excused himself to go take a nap. If you would like a bit of a time skip, especially because I do want to reflect you coming into some of your skills. They're manifesting after the fact, and if you want to have a little, I don't know, like a scene where Mordecai. Well, you weren't going for the shield proficiency, but if you were to practice something. In fact, what you had asked for. What you had asked for can be the result of what has happened in the past, though you could also give it a try now if you so desired.
How did you want me to word it? Because you never gave me a wording.
It was proficiency on Constitution throws when drinking blood.
Only proficiency, not advantage.
Oh, I thought you asked for proficiency.
I was asking for proficiency in general.
Oh, no, general proficiency, because that's a feat, like a whole feat itself. No, that's fine. I'll you can have advantage when on con saves when drinking blood.
Perfect.
Cool. So if you want to give it a try, you can. I mean, you have kind of a willing victim, and with how heated Mordecai and Celine are, I mean, you could just sort of. Like, right there in the middle of the room, just have a hate drink, and...
No, that sounds terrible. That sounds a little too close to something else.
Like, learning boxing techniques in a cooler?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
Indeed.
Pacing in the room right now.
Okay. All right, so you're giving your boots a good workout. That's fine. Norlai's here. Bright, over the course of that conversation, I think Bright somehow managed to shrink herself even smaller than her spell would normally get her. As she was just like continually retreating there for a while, almost to turn like inside out on herself. So Bright is, I guess, in a bit of a shy spot still. So this is an intense conversation. Noralai, I mean, you're a part of it too. Of course, you're like, hello, you're talking about killing my brother. And
Yeah. I didn't like that.
so there are options on the table. There are boots on the ground. Mr. Halvar's taken a nap. Bright has become just a micron in size. And where are we going to take this?
I was going to change the subject and say, what exactly are we going to do?
Okay.
Well, I did already pose an idea of first going to Oldport and then to the monastery to try and find information, because, you know...
Regarding what? Right now?
Everything!
Everything's very general.
We're in the midst of 3 or 4 different crises.
Oops, not the right one.
Yeah, let's try and tackle one maybe? A little bit at a time?
So current location for all of you out there?
But the thing to do that, we need info. Like, example. She's gonna hold up one of the fork guns with the seeds. It's like, we don't know where these come from.
Wait, you're talking about the Corpus Creeper daggers?
Yeah.
We know where these come from.
Oh, do we know? Well, we know where the Corpus Creepers come from. But not the dagger.
Corpus Creeper seeds, the daggers are black market.
Oh, okay, the daggers are black market, right? I was not told.
I was actually, like, back in fucking Flower Field,
Snap
whatever it was.
Snap
Yes. That was, whoops. That was where the person that I was meeting actually had more of those. Not the Corpus Creeper seeds, but the daggers themselves.
Yeah. But the thing is, right? If there's something like this for, like, the vampires and the fae, then there might be something similar for giant flesh trees and the like. And we won't know unless we go and look.
I mean, we kind of have an understanding that Norlai's magic is the one that kind of effectively hurt this tree. We know this.
Yeah, but can we rely? Yeah, but Nora, like, can we rely on you to kill the flesh tree?
I mean, I can try.
And so long as I keep up some kind of counter charm, that should be fine, right?
Yeah,
Ish.
but I mean, with what happened
You
last
just-
time, I generally wouldn't trust it without having some kind of
I don't think you should
way to
get so
know
close
that
to its lane,
that's
though,
the
'cause-
only thing that we can do. If we're gonna go and do that, we need another ace in our hole. It's the same thing with every other crisis going on right now. Is that if we go in right now, even to tackle a little bit, something is going to blindside us.
That's every case, Celine. We can't be prepared for everything.
No, we can't be prepared for absolutely every case. But what we can do is we can go and maybe, whilst not preparing for every case, we might be able to prepare for more cases by finding out info. Not to mention, you know, if I was to give the church the information regarding the Shadowhar Empire and the fact that they're running their ships off of necromancy, we might be paid a pretty penny for that info.
I don't know that I don't know that we actually would. Because what would they do with it? Just send it to the capital. And then the capital's gonna do with it what they want to. They're not gonna believe anybody. They have our word. They don't have proof. And they're already at high tension right now, trying to defend
Mordecai.
the island from everything that's already going on.
Mordecai. There are some people in this world, there are spells in this world that are able to read thoughts. Very simple spells.
Yes.
I myself can't do it, but I know the Church of Ouija will have clerics that can. Mainly because knowledge domain is actually one of the domains for Ouijassian clerics. And that is one of their domain spells.
You're still
Oh, it's just
assuming they're going to believe it.
But see,
And
the
that
thing
they're
is,
going to do
if
something about it.
if they
Even
don't
if
believe
they-
it, but the thing is, if they don't believe it, they have the ability to check the truth
Yes,
in several
Yeah.
ways.
I understand that. But you're still missing the point. They may or may not do something about it. That is up to them.
Well,
Yes,
of course,
well, has
of
back.
course it's up to them.
Back again.
But thing is,
With
at the
this
very
back.
least,
Cash every end.
we're in the area to get access to a massive library of info, which we could then use to our advantage. Either way, it shores up our position.
How long do you want to spend researching, Celine, and before doing something?
We do spend a lot of time in library.
There are books.
What I was thinking, right, is we have a lot of these disparate pieces that we've managed to somewhat link together. Whoop,
Yeah,
that is.
We have a pretty solid idea of how things went down.
How things went down.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is. But the thing is, right, is that at this point, we don't have any way of, trying to turn back the converted, as an example. Just in the fake case.
We have yet to find a cure for vampirism.
Well,
There
but
possibly
think
isn't one.
Well, think of it this way. With what Symphonix told you, where is a better place to look for whether there might be a cure for what is essentially a necromantic disease
You
than the
guys
two
remember
places
Plus
on this
Symphonics?
island that are most steeped with that kind of knowledge?
Sure.
Not to mention, we have all these pieces and have absolutely no idea on how to apply it, so maybe we might get some insight on how to apply this knowledge that we have.
The one clue that we had was kind of a dead end because it didn't exist.
Well, no. That's the thing. I said
At
I
this
knew
point,
of...
it doesn't
I
matter anymore.
I said that I didn't know of any town like that in Aslandia. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean that it didn't exist in the past. Doesn't mean that it's not hidden.
It's also Symphonix. It makes no difference anyway. So,
Well, the thing is, weirdly enough, I'm actually willing to take the benefit of the doubt and check the credence of his info in a way that won't get us, consumed by flesh trees.
so what is our plan?
That's you beat me to it. There's a lot of stuff out here, and I
Why
want to make
don't
sure that
we-
we're not going to argue the like in an out of character sense. In character, I understand. There's a lot of things to think about. I
Yeah.
mean, you are in a library. Mr. Halvar does have a lot of magical compendiums and different resources to look at and maps and such.
Well,
But this is going to have to come down to.
Maybe we should just vote on where to go.
my thought is this. Do a little bit of research here. Go to Oldport. Do a bit of research there. Maybe do a quest or two. Because, we do need to get our name out there a little bit. Together, as a group, we have done, with all the people who have come and gone, we have done a total of 1 quest. Maybe if we do some quests for people who aren't Symphonix.
There's an idea.
Yeah. We can do a bit of research in Oldport. We go to the monastery, do a little bit of research there, maybe talk to some of the ascetics there, maybe they might have some insights that we don't. And then, from there, we'll tackle the closest bit of the crisis, one bit at a time.
The closest bit of the crisis to the monastery at this point, and this is Tazray's word, was that there may be some vampires hiding out up there.
Well, hey, that's a start. Said, we go and have a look at Oldport for some stuff about vampirism.
So what
Then
are
we
we
go to the
doing
monastery
about
and see-
Loki then?
Well, when we're going to these places, we can also search the annals for information regarding Shona Ruth and his pack. As we've said,
Are we sure
there's-
even that information exists? Because I had no idea that thing exists.
Well,
Existed
it-
until Jade came around.
Well, it might, but it might not. We'll have to just take a chance on that. But the thing is, we already have a couple of ideas on how we could save Loki without killing him.
Exactly.
Because I did already pose a thing of, maybe we might be able to find something that's similar to Luciferus, but not as, isn't going to fry his eyeballs
Good luck with that.
as a start. Well, hey, maybe something,
don't know.
maybe something alchemically exists that can be made to, at the very least, be a band-aid fix.
The
As a
Lucifer is
start-
the Band-Aid fix.
Well, yes, the Luciferus is a band-aid fix, but it's a band-aid fix that's also, rotting his flesh and killing him. I mean, like a better band-aid fix.
Sure, we can talk to some doctors or something.
Exactly. I know doctors. I was one,
Maybe that's
Norlight,
something you should
do you
work
have
on.
input in this conversation?
Not too much.
I mean, the other
Did-
thing is,
I have a question actually. Did I
Sure.
learn anything about Shonaruth from the research I've done?
I sent a message to you about that.
Okay.
Celine also, thinks for him. It's like, there's also the other thing that Bright suggested, but I would like to avoid that if at all possible.
Bright, you are here, if only very minuscule, with your social and magical shrinking.
Probably back to normal size by now. For a long time. The spell only lasts a minute.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But no, there's also that thing that Bright suggested of, we could possibly transfer the pact to someone else, but that doesn't sit well with me for obvious reasons.
Obviously.
And what are those obvious reasons?
I mean, that's just...
Loki is current, regardless of anything that we've just, that we've talked about, the one thing that we can all agree on is that Loki is kind of really suffering for this. Right? So why would you
really
inflict
wanna
that
pass it on?
suffering onto someone else?
I don't understand you sometimes. I mean, you'll kill 36 people just for a small potential tactical advantage, but then to transfer a pact that to someone you don't want to do it.
Somebody you don't even know either.
Well, that doesn't matter too much.
Here's the thing.
I mean, I know it,
I mean,
it
I don't
does,
think
but it doesn't.
it's nice, but.
Well, here's the thing, right? Do you know what a pact like that does?
Yes.
Really?
No, nobody does, really.
Also, Jade, we all know how it works.
She's just one example. But I'm talking about pacts like that in general, no matter the beings they're being made with. No matter what deity you worship, no matter what philosophy you follow, you make a pact like that, there is only one thing that you can give in exchange for the power.
I don't know
Do you know what that
actually
is?
true. I mean, there are lots of things that you can do in exchange for the power. Maybe not with Shonaruth, but in general. Like, I've heard of people who made pacts with with the Fae before they went all crazy like this, and sometimes they didn't even know what they were trading for. They didn't go insane. They just, it was like you have to do this one tiny little service, and then you have all this great power, and then the tiny little service, it turned out to have some other side effects that maybe you weren't anticipating, but still it was different.
And then there was Bambardelus, and he made a pact, and he didn't go crazy.
No,
Yeah,
but he
Bambardelus
very much
is a really
regretted
good
his
example.
decision.
Yeah, but he didn't go crazy.
I didn't say he went crazy, but he very much came to regret the decision and broke the pact.
Yeah.
Grimhilder seems to like hers.
Grimhilder is nuts! Full on goo
What do we
goo!
know I didn't know she had a pact. I thought she was... What do we know about her?
I
We
think
don't really know anything
Bambardelus
about her.
said
We've only met her once.
Well, hey, maybe we might
Twice,
have a...
but we didn't talk about how her magic worked.
Yeah.
Bambardelus,
You know,
Bambardelus had indicated that he sensed in her that she worked for his ex, and so as his
was a
ex
fiend.
was a fiend, it was all but stated directly that she is a warlock of the fiend, and that's actually how how his ex found them, was because she ratted on them to her patron. And
I must have not kept proper notes that day. I'm sorry.
But no, here's the thing, right? Usually there is only one thing that a patron will take in exchange for the power, and that is, when you die, your soul becomes theirs.
Don't think we know
Is that
for sure.
true of the gods, too? Didn't you say that's something that...
Well, then
We
maybe
just
they
asked
have to
you
kill
for-
people because
The
then
gods do not
you lose
take
your soul.
your soul. It's a little
Maybe.
bit different. Your soul travels to wherever they reside in the ethereal to be with them, but they do not take it.
Kinda sounds similar.
Very. That's... neither here nor there, though.
But no, my idea is that we go and find information. We go to monastery. We possibly fight vampires and try and find stuff out about Shonaruth and all of the other big stuff that we found along the way. Because I mean, as much time as you and I spent in the desert, Mordecai, surrounded by Shadahari soldiers, we don't know a lot about Shadahar.
I mean, they're a country.
No,
and
thy enemy.
they're looking to come to
I mean-
Mesotopia.
I mean
so
that-
that's
I
all we
mean-
really need to know.
I mean, their
We know
history as
they're
a
going
people.
to invade. They just...
Their history as a people and their motivations for invading. Know thy enemy.
Like, do we even, like...
Any
Okay.
tactician will be able to tell you that. Know thy enemy.
We kind of do know why they want to come. It's because Mesomaska is a hub for necromantic magic.
Well,
And
that's
Mesomaskis
what we're
are all
assuming. We know.
Right?
No, I mean we know that we know that Mesomaska is a hub for necromantic magic, but we're assuming that that's what Shadowheart actually.
I mean, they have a reverence for vampirism, and they want to spread it. Why wouldn't they? Aside from the economical gains.
And taking a look at the map as well, this is, besides Lacuna to the south and Kandor to the north, really this is a strategic point to control because of all the trade that comes through, because of the just the military importance, cultural importance, any sort of historical
economical and
importance.
political reasons, exactly.
And if you control Mesomaska, I mean, you can control so many other areas, or at least limit it or monitor it, or use this as a very stable base of operations. And then all the stuff you said, but don't forget that there are geographical reasons, that there are geopolitical reasons and
Geopolitical
and
reasons
such.
as well.
Yes.
Those are more of a given, I would feel, than
That's enough.
it's like there's still the entire thing, right? Of at this point, we're kind of the only ones, asides those who like are on the front lines with them, that actually know the kind of technology that they're bringing to the table.
Again, no proof. Only your word, only your thoughts, only your truth. That's it. We don't have to think big picture, Celine.
Then what?
I think big picture is the only thing we can think. We have so many problems, and we're not going to solve any of them by errands for people. We have to find a place where we can exert just enough force that only we can do, and turn the tide.
Yes, we need something. We need that little force in just the right spot to create a sweeping solution. Because if we try and tackle on the mountain one bit by another, the other three mountains are gonna come from behind and pile on top of us. And we're gonna be stuck in a mountain sandwich. Is that what you want, Mordecai? You want to be stuck in a mountain sandwich?
No. Sounds terrible.
Exactly. So why don't we figure out... There has to be a thread between all of these things, between the Fae and the vampires and Shadahar and Shonaruth. We find what that thread is, we cut what that thread is. And then in the ensuing chaos, we stay the hell out of the way. Help people when we can, but otherwise, we stay the hell out of the way. And I said, and I think the only way to figure out what that is to go and have a look at some knowledge. It's the only place I could think of that contain that. Those are the only two places I could think of that could contain such stuff. And hey, one of them might already be a front where we could try and confront one of these 3 or 4 factions that are attempting to screw us all over. I'd say 4. Yeah, no, 4.
Celine's definitely a go big or go home type of girl.
Yeah. We don't really have a choice. If we go small, the big just gets bigger until we can't do anything about it.
I mean, I think it's already too big for us to handle, especially the Shadowhar.
Really, it is.
Well, I don't think fighting their army on the open field of battle is what we should be doing. But
oh, no.
We can certainly do some things.
Oh, yeah, Fighting them openly is definitely a bad idea. I couldn't do.
I think there's some stuff we could do. I get a lot of fireball practice, and those are fun things. But it's not our abilities. We have so many things we can do. Norlai's immune to the Fae, and Mordecai, they all revere him so much. I think if Mordecai wanted to pretend he was going to be like an agent of theirs, but he was actually like a quadruple agent.
I mean, I'm good at lying, but I'm not that good.
Just have to be. You just have to be
I'm
careful.
not a vampire, so I can't do it.
Yeah, you just have to be careful that you don't have so many crosses and double crosses that even you forget who you're working for. You never want that.
No.
I
feel that honesty on the verge of not saying enough is kind of how I work.
But no, I think our first thing should be to find. I think the first thing that we should do is we should go find out some knowledge and try and suss out where we might be able to place this little bit of force to start our attack on all 4 of them at once. But in the insidious fashion rather than an open fashion.
I think maybe we should just focus on one thing at.
So, Norlai, your brother is still right here, and he's the closest, and I know before you said you didn't have a chance to give us any ideas, but listening, maybe you could give us ideas. Do you have any preference on how we save your brother? To find him. We're all here together now. We have more power than when it was just the 2 of us.
Well, maybe we should find out what exactly he's supposed to be doing with this pack, because Jade had an agenda. She had something she needed to do. Maybe we can find out what Loki's supposed to be doing.
Jade wasn't that different from Celine, actually. She just really hated the vampires because they were
And Faye.
because they were contrary to what the way Shonaruth had a way that he wanted the world to be, and the vampires were opposed to that, and just things that shouldn't be. No offense, and I don't know.
No, the courts of vampirism and Fae in the capacity that they are right now are things that should not be. Like, Mordecai shouldn't be a vampire right now. He should still be he should still be a tiefling. Happy-go-lucky and bouncing around. But,
I mean, ideally, we should all be home with our families having dinner. That's ideally what we should all be doing.
Wouldn't that be something?
That's very funny, bro.
That might not be your ideal, Celine, but I think a lot of us have that ideal.
Yeah.
But you know what our first port of call should be?
See if we can find Loki here.
We could always just take him prisoner and bring him with us, and then.
I think someone might have an objection to that.
Just until we figure out how to fix him. It's better than letting him wander off and go who knows where on a ship, and we have to go looking for him.
But he also has a team, and the thing is that if we take him with us, that team will hunt us to the end of the earth, trying to get him back. But
why don't we just beat up the team?
Before all of that.
Maybe hold on. Maybe we could just get a hold of Loki for like a few hours and try to talk to him, and then figure out what his pact is, and figure out what it wants, and then we can approach it from there. We need information from him about what he's supposed to be doing right now. Yeah.
Yep, but before any of that,
before
any of that, we have one other thing that we need to do.
And what's that?
Think of it this way. I'll direct this at you, Brad, considering you're the only one. Besides me, you're the only one who's been here the entire time. We've always been a group of 5. First, it was you, me, Jade, Tazray, and Raphael. And then it became you, me, Jade, Tazray, Mordecai. And then it became you, me, Jade, Mordecai, Noralai. And then you, me, Noralai, Mordecai, Seltzer. Now it's just us 4, and there's one spot missing.
Yeah, let's be abandoned Seltzer.
Was Seltzer really part of the team? Because when Seltzer was just kind of like you guys in Shelter, and then me and Bright for like a month.
She would have been an honorary member.
Mm-hmm.
I would have accepted her.
As much of a pain in the ass as she was, I also would have accepted her. But I think our first port of call should be finding a 5th member to come with us. Because at the very least, an extra set of hands kind of consolidates up with the rest of the group.
Maybe we could just talk Loki in it.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this to you, Nora. What happened the last time you talked with Loki? Because you said that you did.
We kind of got into a fight, and I blew him off the building.
Wait, as in you threw him out of the building?
Yeah.
But it was just like a sibling rivalry thing. She didn't really mean it.
There was a hole in the ceiling anyway, so...
Well, see, Nora, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but People usually don't survive long falls like that.
No, he was fine because we went to where he got blown, and he got up and ran away.
That's good.
Was he alive?
Yeah. But I don't know where he ended up after that because Grimhilder showed up. Just kind of.
He's probably
Anyway.
wandered off somewhere. Anywhere.
Well, he should be in town, maybe.
I mean,
hopefully.
Can't
Yes,
assume that
we-
anymore.
Is there
How
a
long
way
has
to
it been since you
find out
last
where
saw
he
him?
is?
I mean,
We could
of course I
just
can
try
find
it.
out where he is. We just need to borrow Mr. Halvar's bowl.
If we can find out where he is, that'll give us a start anyway.
Yeah, alright, we can scry out his location, I guess.
If he's nowhere near here, then we'll go to Old Port.
Because, how long has it been since you last saw him, Noralayam, Brent?
Like a week ago. Probably.
Like a week ago? Yeah, no. I would bet he's had more than enough time to skip town.
He wants to.
Well, the last time he skipped town, he came right back, so.
Really
Oh,
don't know
that
what
was
he was doing.
Wasn't Grimhilder on her way to Old Port anyway?
Well, maybe we could head her. Well, that was a week ago now.
No, that was months ago when we were here.
Well, she was headed to Opal, but she was here a week ago.
Oh, well. Let's scry where they are, see where they are. Can't hurt anything. And then
Yeah.
make our way down there.
Just get me the font and I'll deal with it.
I'll deal with it. Oh gosh. All right.
Do you know how to do the scrying thing with the bowl?
I do know how to do the scrying thing with the ball.
Okay.
So if you pass me the ball, I'll do it.
Oh, I don't have the bowl right here.
Where is the ball?
It's in the closet. Yeah. You guys will have to come. Like, to go get.
Alright, take me there and I'll
Very well.
scry it out.
But I'm not going with them. I'm going back to my room. Don't want to get caught in the closet again.
You maneuver your way through this not so small magical house, and you find yourself in a dusty storage closet. A lot of things are covered in sheets, and sure enough, there appears to be a recently used bowl-shaped thing that is made from a bunch of large, kind of almost like hand-sized dragon scales.
Alright. Is it filled with anything?
No.
No? Alright. Well, this'll do as a font. I just need... I'll just, grab a couple of the vials of holy water I've got in my person and pour them in, because it needs to be filled with holy water for me. And then I will proceed to cast scrying. I've met the target, so I have first hand for Loki. Well, I mean, that's what it is. Oh, there's no target to be found. Selena's like... Right. So, bad news.
What?
He's no longer on this plane of existence.
What? What?
No
How many
target
times
to be
can you do
found.
this, Celine?
Wait, what?
How many times can you do that?
I can do it once more.
Can you want to try finding Grimhilder? Maybe she'd know.
Yeah, I'll attempt to cast Scrying again, targeting Grimhilda.
Okay. And
This one I've also
result.
been gone. Nada. I would know if it's blocked. They're either under the effects of something like non-detection, or they're not on the same plane of existence anymore.
Let's assume they're not technical. That's probably.
Well,
Right.
There's that idea.
Well,
You know what I would like to do? I'd like to try and go and find I would like to try and go and find a 5th party member to join us. I'd like to go shopping, because I am in need of a number of material components, as I'm sure you are as well, Mordecai and Bright.
Not there.
I'm sure we
I went
all
back to
are.
my bedroom.
Oh,
I could
well,
use a couple
you know,
things,
Bright is
but
probably
not
in
much.
those as well.
I don't need much. So we could do that.
okay.
I'll go find where Bright went off to.
She went
I'm
to
gonna
the
go-
room, which you're not allowed to go.
What?
Can't go to the room right.
Why not?
Because it's my room and you're not allowed in.
Unfortunately, that means you're not going to be able to get in.
Fair? Can I knock on the door at least, Norlai?
Knocking doesn't work. It'll sound in a different room.
Because this place is
This
magic.
place is odd. Yeah.
Alright. Well,
I'll go get it.
okay. You said you were going to go get her? Or
Yeah, I'm going to go.
So you're knocking. You're going after.
I'm going into my room because I know
Yes.
she went.
Okay.
Oh, I have a backlog. We need to clear the backlog.
Bye bye.
Yeah, we can't do this yet. It's not.
Yeah.
Time hasn't advanced this far yet.
Okay. Speaking backlog.
Okay, so while they're and I have several messages to send.
Yeah, because it would have taken like 20 minutes at least to do the 2 scrying spells one after another.
I don't know how long scrying takes, but the first
10 minutes.
message. So the first message is to the gnome Green Shield.
Okay.
What I want to say is there's a really dangerous tree near town. Hi, it's Bright. There's a really dangerous tree outside of town that eats any creatures that have Fey ancestry, including gnomes. And I really just want you to make sure that you're safe and that everyone that you know about, you do everything you can to stop them from. Okay, bye.
Okay.
And-
Your message it's not blocked or doesn't boop 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 return to sender or anything.
So I can assume that they got it. It's very hard to understand what's going on with these spells.
Yes. It presumably manifested exactly as you had hoped and dreamed for it to happen.
Good. And then the next spell, the next sending I want to have, this is something that I meant to talk to you outside of character with, but I didn't.
Okay.
So I want to send a message to someone from my backstory, someone that who would be like, might go to Uct from time to time and
Okay.
tell them to warn the village. I don't know who it is. It's probably some former customer.
Okay.
And it's just the same, basically the same kind of message.
With the "oh hey it's bright" inserted halfway in the middle. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
of course. Yeah.
It's cultural.
And then the third message is for Jade. I don't think she'll get it, but I want to send it anyway. And I'm going to say, if you can hear this, please respond. I don't know if you're okay, and I don't think you are. Please let me know.
Okay.
And the fourth message, Ruth, let's contact other plane. I haven't been able to load the spell into my spellbook, but I know it's there.
Oh, let me crack open my Pahubba then.
It's not working. I don't know what the deal is.
Odd.
To
Well,
load spells today.
let's see. Contagion, continual flame. Oh, I gotta go back.
There it is. I got it working.
Oh.
You give me just a second. I have a couple other spells that I want to load to while I'm here.
You mentally contact a demigod, the spirit of a long-dead sage, or some other mysterious entity from another plane. Contacting this extraplanar intelligence can strain or even break your mind. When you cast this spell, make a DC 15 intelligence saving throw. On a failure, well, we'll go ahead and I guess make that save. That is not a failure. That is a green number.
That is a crit. Yep.
That's good. My brain is still working. I'm happy to hear that. I need that for later.
All right, so you're going to get to ask up to 5 questions. I will give you the 5 here. Though these questions must be asked within the duration of a minute, and I am to give you an otherworldly one-word answer, such as yes, no, maybe, never, irrelevant, or unclear. And so you are reaching your mind out. You're beckoning to show Narath, and would you like to add or to ask?
Oh, I thought there might be a scene transition or something. Okay. Luciadius, is there any means, short of his death, by which he can be released from his pact?
Yes.
That's good. Would you accept a trade?
Yes.
Would you trade another person to take on his pact?
Yes.
Would you trade other things?
Yes.
Can you give me a hint?
No. Those were your 5 questions. Now, I will add, while I was being a little bit deadpanned in face in response, the sound, the voice that you get back, it's an odd mix, because you're certainly reaching out, and as you sort of knock on the front door of old man McShonaruth, asking to sell your Girl Scout cookies. There's a foreign, kind of a cold distance, And there's also a familiarity to this psychic connection that you've made, if only briefly, with the entity. Perhaps an uncomfortable closeness with, because I can't really call it a voice. I was partially deadpan for humor, but because you're getting this psychic response, it's not really manifesting in an audible fashion. But there's something disturbingly close and also remotely alien to you simultaneously about this contact that you just made. And so while mechanically you don't suffer psychic damage and you don't suffer the effects of a mechanical madness, it is disturbing, a little jarring, as your message +1 spell somehow was able to reach out in this way.
So when you say an uncomfortable familiarity, do you mean like he reminds me of Jade, or he reminds me of like something from my distant past, or he reminds me of like Orlan's, or what?
Nothing specific, just a closeness. Yeah, I mean, it could remind you, not really an accent or anything of any or all of those entities, and at the same time, it was almost as if the answers were just, being whispered in your ear, like from someone who is standing just behind you, right at whisper distance, and so it is.
Nobody's there.
It's an uncomfortable familiarity and just an overall situation where you're. Oh,
Dog.
A little doggo. So, but such is the nature of the spell. Maybe the more times you cast it and clearly don't go mad, will drive you mad this way.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But Mordecai discussed something similar as well when he was debriefing about the Aslandian adventure.
Yes, adventure.
Okay, Norla, you can come in now. I was talking to Shona. We're pals. He's laconic. She's like draconic, but totally different.
Okay.
Not sure it's that different.
I'm just retrieving you because the others wanted you.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can go. I'll follow you.
Also, don't let Mordecai in my room.
Oh, okay.
I already told him. So, try to go in the room. Tell him no.
Okay. I'll remember that. What did you guys want? Ruth. He said that we could release Loki from his pact. He said we could trade somebody else for him and that would totally be okay. And he said that there were other ways too, but he didn't say what they were.
Wait, what?
Talk to Shona Ruth. It's not that hard.
Totes.
I can totally talk to Shona Ruth. I can probably talk to Orlance too. And I can probably also talk to Bambarless's wife, but I heard she's kind of a witch with a bee, so I don't want to.
When did you learn how to do that?
Last session.
Oh.
I mean, Bright just entering the room said, "Yeah, I just talked to Shona, NBD." Has the pact been swapped already?
Weird, but okay.
So, I mean, I've never used the spell before. It's kind of a big deal, but so I talked to Shona Ruth, and I had to get through his call menu that tried to make me insane, but I didn't go insane, so that was good.
That's good.
But I got to ask 5 questions, and I asked him if we could free Loki, and I asked him if we could trade him for somebody else, and he said that'd be fine. And I also asked if there were other ways, and he said there were, but that was all. And also, there were, it was weird. It was like he was just standing right behind me, but then I looked and there was nothing there. So it was just kind of weird and uncomfortable. I think maybe Shona Ruth is one of those close talkers.
I've experienced this.
Oh, when did you experience this?
I had hallucinations in the desert,
Oh,
and
Okay.
they were definitely very Jade-like.
okay.
Like paint the
So-
lines, cut them in.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Oh,
I hated it. It was
So-
gross. It was not fun. Mm-mm.
so Shona Ruth was responsible for those things that happened to you on your way back?
Yes. It happened a couple of times and then it was gone. I haven't had it since. So I don't
Since-
know what came
Since
of
you
it.
pulled that bug out of your neck?
It was before that even. Like before
stopped-
that, it stopped talking to me. It talked to me for like 2 nights and then it was done.
Mordecai, would you like to roll an investigation?
Sure. I'm gonna use that +1.
Ooh, all right. Oh, you have a birthday crit on deck at some point in time too, don't you?
I do.
Oh, all right.
I have been saving my birthday crit.
11.
11. I mean, obviously what you said is true, unless somehow you're trying to dupe yourself, create some false memories in your own noggin. But yeah, it talked to you, and then it stopped.
Yeah.
It was still there, or at least the eyeball thingy was still there for a while, but the direct communication seemed to stop after a certain point.
Yeah,
But-
after I went up to the pilot house
Hmm.
and a strand of black hair crawled into my hair
Mm-hmm.
of its own volition. I didn't do anything to it.
Yes.
Was it like one of those days when your hair is just all woo woo? I mean, that happens to me sometimes.
I mean, my hair was a tragedy, but but it was black, not navy blue. There was a distinct difference between the colors, at least that I can tell. It was not one of mine. It was a black one. It was black and straight, actually, if I remember
Is
right.
there?
Maybe it belonged to Jade.
I was gonna ask if maybe it belonged to Celine. I mean, it's weird. Whatever happened to the hair? Do you still have it?
It crawled into my hair of its own volition, and I haven't seen it since. I haven't really had much time to go through my own hair to find it because I don't have a mirror.
Yeah.
Oh.
When he wants to go nitpicking.
I have a mirror. Equipment. I have a
He
mirror.
has a mirror now. It's just we didn't have one in the desert.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have my disguise kit, which I typically use to
Of course, it would have a mirror in it.
help my hair.
Bright being an individual in this conversation as well, you can also make an independent investigation regarding this topic.
Okay.
15. So you're thinking about this as well, and your noodle is simmering. In putting things together with what Mordecai presented, and what you remember about Jade and what you're being told about Mordecai. And even if it's not about Jade herself, or even Jade as an aspect or a puppet or whatever you want to call her,
Mystery dollar from the mystery code. Is it lethality? Is it from realms unknown?
Oh
Who
my.
knows?
Thanks.
Kappa.
There's a little bit of dono hype here. So the mystery person can contact me about what you'd like to do with the dollar to be a fickle god here. And so in noodling over it here, Bright, you're putting the timeline together of what you're told of what they did in the desert. They were implanted during the ritual, the same one that drew away Symphonics. They woke up in the desert, in the buff, captured and all this. They broke away, and upon that, the voice started as a way to seemingly begin this motivation or this idea, a way to take this derelict ship and turn it into something bigger and greater. And by the end, it was this beast of flesh and wood and metal and all an amalgamation that it seemed to readily accept the two eyes that popped out of Celine and Mordecai's necks. And in that case, when the voice ceased, seemingly it ceased because it got what it wanted? Question mark. The gear was set to turn, and the gear did what it was supposed to do. You know, in a Jade mentality.
It was weird.
Huh.
Yeah. Didn't like any of it. Didn't like any of that at all.
So, what I don't understand then, I think we need to figure out who it was that was responsible for screwing up that ritual. Whoever it is must have been more powerful than Symphonics, which means they must have been pretty powerful because, I mean, not a very competent one, but a big one. And then, so do you think, I mean, if it doesn't make sense, because if Shonaruth was the one who put, I mean, certainly he's powerful enough. If he was the one that put the bugs in your neck, then why would you have to do all those things, right? He could have just done whatever he wanted to do then, so you wouldn't have had to go do it. It seems like somebody else must have been responsible, and then, like, he got involved somehow.
I don't claim to understand anything about what's going on with Shonaruth. I tend to dislike voices in my head. I tend to dislike necromancy. I tend to dislike flesh ships. So that's much as I know.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of neutral on the flesh ship question, but on the others, yeah, I pretty much don't like them either.
But yeah, if something more powerful than Symphonics pulled us out of the ritual and it wasn't Shonaruth, that's kind of weird. But
it means we need to find out what, if it was something else, then we need to find out what that thing is at.
How do you propose we do that? We can't exactly ask Symphonics, he's not here.
Well, maybe we can ask Mr. Halvar about it. Maybe he might know of something.
Tried sending to Symphonics. Did you try that already?
Yes, we tried that.
And it was blocked like Tippa blocked, or blocked like he was dead?
As
Blocked
in,
like he was dead.
No
target.
No target like Selter.
Which is death. Because for it to register as being blocked, it has to actively be blocked. If you're dead, then you are no longer a valid target for the spell. You can't contact dead people with sending.
Do we have a spell that
I would have
can
tried
talk to
that.
people?
I do have a spell that can talk to dead people.
Because, yeah, you guys could just try that.
But the thing is, though, is that it requires their corpse.
That's fine. Let's go to the tree and go get it.
Hey, there you go. I smell adventure.
Hey, talk the corpse. Let's get the corpse. There's our adventure.
I mean, that's one way of talking to Jade.
Well, we need one that's long distance talking to.
Yeah, I mean, I could always contact other plane again. But I don't want to call Symphonics I don't want to call Shonaruth too often. He might get grumpy.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea.
But, I mean, why don't I try it? Maybe I can talk to Symphonics with it.
If he's on a different plane of existence, then yeah, sure.
I mean, it's more about him, like, having passed on and not being part of this world anymore. But it seems like that's the case. So yeah, so why don't we do this in the library this time?
Okay.
I go insane. And oh, every time I use it, I make a different roll. It's a ritual too, and it doesn't have any expensive components. Now you know why I took the spell.
And I mean, you being a diviner and all, because you're still a diviner, it nets you back spell slots too.
Well, not if I do it as a ritual, which is what I was doing. Because I haven't had time to memorize it. I only, finished it just now.
Matty, are you muted on the stream?
Yes, apparently I was. Thank you.
Okay, here it
we
comes.
Hey,
That's a crit again.
Bright skull deforms as a pulsing brain. It grows ever stronger beneath the pink hair. Well, that was Feast and Famine, too. That was a 28 or a 9, so... For everyone out there, if you believe in multiple timelines or dimensions, at this point in time, we actually split reality between this critical success and this critical failure when trying to contact an extraplanar being here in the library. So somewhere out there is a Negabright who critically failed this and is probably having some fun, being about 6 cans short of a 12-pack. Or 12 cans short of a 6-pack, even. All right, so you are.
That's minus 6 cans.
That
it's
is
the only number of cans that makes sense to an insane person.
All right, so you all watch. I mean, Mordecai, if you had your doubts, because Bright was just wanting to, just sort of smooth things over, try and have her own play nice. Here she is. In a minute, in the middle of this library, she starts talking and doing this little chant, and you didn't know a no mouth could make these sounds and syllables, but apparently towards the end of the incantation, it's slipping into some weird territory here. And the spell goes off, and you're contacting Shonaruth, you said again?
Oh, no, Siphonix.
Oh, Siphonix, got it. Okay. You're connected.
Siphonix, are you still alive?
Maybe.
Hey, do you know where you are?
No.
He says he doesn't know where he is, and he doesn't know if he's alive. It's not a very productive conversation so far. Does anyone have any other questions? Try to rescue you?
Can you repeat that for me?
You want us to try to rescue you?
No.
Ask
So
him
want
if
us
it
to
was
rescue him?
Shonaruth.
Ask him what?
Ask him if it was Shonaruth.
You know, it's the one who messed up the ritual?
Yes.
I realize I didn't phrase that question properly. Was Shonaruth the one who messed up the ritual?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's 5. Okay,
Yes.
bye.
Once more, you have that kind of uncomfortable, whispered right in your ear, and the back of your ear almost feels just sort of moist from humidity, like someone was going as they're replying in your ear.
Is it like puppy snurfles in your ear, kind of moist?
Just
That's cute.
Yeah, I mean, like someone had a spray bottle full of fresh sweat and just sort of spritzed you behind the ear.
Okay, so the spell doesn't cumulatively make me insane, but it does cumulatively cause ick. Okay, so Sophonic's, he doesn't want us to rescue him. He says that Shonaruth is the one who messed with the ritual. So that's one question answered. He says he doesn't know if he's dead or alive, and he doesn't know where he is, and he doesn't want us to try to rescue him. So Sophonic's is out of the game for a while, possibly forever. We're not sure.
Should probably tell Mr. Halvar this.
I mean,
Probably kind of knows him.
Yeah.
Tell Mr. Halvar what? The door opens and he's coming out and kind of bleary and rubbing his eyes.
Sophonic's may or may not be dead.
And he checks his horns. Norlai, are these on straight?
Yes.
oh yeah.
You always
Sometimes
wondered why
I have
he
trouble
asked you
keeping
that,
my hair on
Norlai,
straight.
growing up. You thought he was just joking around with you, trying to have fun, but actually he kind of needs that second opinion. What do you have to ask me now? I'm sorry. I had a wonderful nap. I hope that you all have been productive.
Somewhat, yes. So Stephonix may or may not be still alive. He doesn't know.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And where did you learn this?
Through Bright casting a spell.
I sent him a message and asked him.
A message? Message
A
hasn't
little
been
bit
able
more
to
than a
reach
message,
Stephonix.
wasn't it, right?
I sent him a message. Do you not know this spell? I thought you knew all the spells. Yeah, this
And the message spell resounds in your mind. That he does very much know the message spell.
Oh no. And this is sending back. No, not this one. The extra planar one, where you can ask 5 questions.
Oh, Bright. Oh, Bright, you... That could be quite dangerous, I'll have you know.
Yeah.
Very oily.
I'm glad it was fruitful. He looks... actually, Mr. Halvar looks over to you, Norlai, and kind of gives you that look like... and not kind of waggles his head back towards Bright. I'm sorry, Bright. Just so you know, you might have read it in the... You might have read it in the incantation and what it requires, but sometimes you might get answers that... well, you get answers for questions you never asked. I think that's one way to put it lightly.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well... message sends words through this in-between, and it manifests in another mind, and this spell is like a more powerful version where you try to contact more powerful beings that exist in this outside area. I don't know what you'd want to call it. And from that contact, it is possible that you could pick up some kind of a... maybe calling it like a disease. Your mind can be touched by this other one as you make this more direct contact with it. Especially as you are the one who goes traipsing to their front door.
Hey. Well, I don't feel like I have brain herpes.
And hopefully you won't contract them. However, there is always a chance that such an infliction could settle upon you. And I don't think that you would really even know that you had it, my dear Bright. And he looks to the rest of you. If Bright ever starts... I suppose from this point forward, if Bright ever starts acting oddly, you might have to suspect that she was touched by an entity that left a mark upon her.
We're kind of used to dealing with odd people.
Pretty much everybody here is insane, so it's okay.
A little bit.
That's kind of...
Well, good luck.
Are we?
Do you have, were you able to make a plan at all? I see you've still been, going, hither and thither around the banquet here and he kind of picks up one of the leftover rolls and sniffs at it, takes a bite. In fact, I even see, oh, yes, you were in the dusty storage room. Didn't even ask, but then, to be fair, I was also napping. So thank you, but also you should ask. I hope you're able to learn something important, Celine.
Well, I tried and contacted 2 people and got a no target on Skying, which means they're either under non-detection or on another plane of existence.
Or they have that divination blocking bug.
That's what the non-detection is.
Oh, I mean, there's non-detection the spell, and then there's...
It is possible to
bug.
block the effects of scrying, and that could very well be the case. I suppose they could be dead, but that'll be up to your investigations. Have you decided on where you'd like to go? I might be able to give you some advice on how to best get there.
We were gonna try to grab Loki and see if we could figure out what Jonaruth wanted from him, but we can't find Loki. At least not with magic. We could ask around, but that might take a while.
So, Old Port then?
I think that's our next port of call. Maybe.
Well, I would like to, if you're open-minded to such a thing, I would like to actually ask you to help me out before you leave.
You've been so generous. We're more than happy to help you.
And not today. You've been through quite enough, and quite frankly, you probably all should put yourselves under observation for a couple days after coming back together. Being in the places you have, who knows what other sorts of gifts you're trading with each other. Anyway, there are, well, you're familiar that the Fae have been awakening around us, and that in particular they use a form of movement, somewhat similar to a teleportation circle. Mordecai, I believe you know the fundamentals of that spell.
I do.
And from what I understand, there are some of these mushroom circles that are beginning to grow in the area, and they can't seem to function within the city itself, probably due to the fact it's not as natural, supernatural, something like that. And there is, by one of the exits to the house, somewhere I can almost be assured that there's a circle of these mushrooms, and I would appreciate it if you wouldn't mind taking a look and, well, destroying it if you wish, using it if you're foolish, though I would sincerely like as best a live sample of this mushroom that you can dig up and bring back. I'd like to study it and see if there's anything that I can learn by testing it and examining it. Perhaps this could help. This could help me to understand where the Fae had grown past the time that I had come to know them.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. So, do you know that there's a Fae circle like this, a mushroom circle, kind of just outside or just in the vicinity of the Flowerfield estate?
And in Green Shield.
Not actually on the estate, just outside of town.
I wasn't aware, though. Then again, given the prevalence of these things and what I'm presuming they're allowing the Fae to do. Travel to many places, communicate over large distances. Although it's odd that they would have one in the flower field area. I can't imagine it would.
There was
would
one
really
near
work.
Green Shield as well.
Green
The
Shield
one up-
would make all too
The one
much
up
sense.
north would be working. I don't know. Maybe it was.
The one that we found in Flowerfield was busted, as far as I recall.
No, it wasn't working. We just saw it, but we didn't. I mean, so we just kind
Trevor
of.
didn't try to eat it.
Do you understand any dangers that we might face seeing this circle? You must understand that we have apprehension because the last time that we went on a mission like this for Symphonics, we lost someone.
Oh well. I'm not trying to put you in danger. You can always run away, I suppose. But from what I understand, Celine is inhabited by a Fae. Norlai is all but immune, as far as we know, to Fae magics. Mordecai, you are, I think, incapable of carrying that change in your current form. And I suppose that would mean that Bright would be the only one in danger. So, Bright, if you wish to stay behind, you certainly may. And I guess some of the others.
I'll participate. I always want to help. I'll stay in the back.
All I'd ask you to do is
Get
just
booped.
pick several mushrooms, perhaps half a dozen. Or 6, however many you prefer.
Yeah,
Should
6
go
of one,
swimming.
half a dozen of the other.
Should go swimmingly. So we can assume.
Oh, yes, speaking of swimming, it is in a forested area by a beach. I hope that's not going to be a problem.
No, shouldn't be.
We should bring swimsuits.
You should what? I'm sorry, I missed that, Norlai.
We should bring swimsuits. Go swim.
If you wish, you may want to at least have your swimsuits perhaps plated with metal. That seems to be all the rage these days with adventurers. I've seen quite a few chainmail bikinis just sort of on sale. I guess it's that season. Everyone's getting their summer bods together. But if you wish to spend time, I mean, as long as I have 6, then you could roast them on the beach and enjoy them in the salt breeze. But you don't have to do this tonight. I hope that you would rest up and in the morning after breakfast, we'll get you situated and we'll leave through one of the exits.
I'm a little tired from contacting the world.
Fair enough.
Contacted a lot of people today. Some of them insane, some of them alive, some of them not. The usual. So I could definitely use a rest. And I also need to boop everyone. Or that need to be booped for Herbert.
Ah, yes.
Yep. You get your daily medicine here from Dr. Bright.
Boop.
All
I
right.
think I need a refresh.
All right. Well. So, then we'll rest.
Yes. Now, you're welcome to stay here if you wish. I, for one, however, am going to go and get a little bit of nightlife. It's been too long since I've been out, and from what I understand, Symphonics really enjoyed a good show, and I feel that I should be doing the same. There's a newcomer, actually, Rakami Thunderdrums. She's performing at the Tumbled Wench here in town, and I want to go see her performance.
I think I'll join you.
Oh, nice.
Well, you're welcome to do so, Mordecai. She's all the talk of the town recently. Just blew in, and apparently what everyone's saying is she has a magnificent pair of drums.
You know what?
Don't they
Why don't I
always?
come? Why don't I come with both as well? Maybe we might be able to get a couple of gigs in town before. Need to go.
This is true.
Any money's
I
good
used
money, you
to
know.
be the talk of the town, but not anymore. But so I'm all pooped. I only have like one more spell, so hopefully Miss Thunderdrums doesn't.
Oh, right.
Something.
Oh, you forgot where the door to the bathroom was. Norla,
No,
could you escort her, please?
Not like that.
Oh. Pardon, I just because you can speak the language doesn't mean you understand the nuance.
No, I don't plan on making a ruckus. I just
Well then, the show's on me. Why don't you get some rest, wash up if you need to, and we'll meet back here. Let's coordinate our times. He closes his eyes, kind of moves his mouth a little bit, and kind of a boop, a thought pops into each of your minds. There we go. We're synchronized, and we'll meet back here and leave into the beautiful night air of Mask of Horns to go see a show.
Yep.
Also, I cast Mage Armor.
Okay. All right. So each of you return to your rooms. You prepare. Your brain alarm goes off, and it is time to head out with Mr. Halvar. The Tumbled Wench here in Mask of Horns isn't as quaint as the one that appears here. However, I don't have any sort of preloaded art that would be more reflective of a bustling tavern on such short notice. So, we're going to use our imaginations and pretend this is like 50 times the size of what you see this quaint small town. And
I have also brought my violin just in case.
Ooh. There we go. All right, so there's food and drink. You can eat and drink to your heart's content as the tab is being picked up by Mr. Halvar. How very nice of him. You're welcome to have whatever you want here. And a lot of the lamps are lowered, and the barmaids and everyone asks everyone, okay, if you need anything, we're not going to serve during the show. In fact, it's even recommended that you drink what you have now because the performance is a little ruckus, and it's been known to spill some cups. So if you need anything in the next 5 minutes, let me know. I'm going to be dashing around.
Good to know.
And so your server is doing just that, going between the tables. People are kind of getting their last drinks in before the show, as the mood is kind of settled down. And the rest of the lights, save for a couple and, kind of the early equivalent of an exit lamp or something, go down. And in the darkness, it kind of spoils it for all of you who have dark vision. But you know what? To a performer, they're going to use everything that they can. And so this woman does come out on stage. Big build. Very healthy-looking woman. In fact, she is a half-orc. And she comes out in a very primal-looking outfit that, even with dark vision, has a unique pattern to it. The way that it shifts or reflects the light on your retinas in the dark. It's as if this outfit was made not just to be seen in normal or low light, but to be seen in the dark as well. Showing that this is, she has some experience, or this was meant to be. This was no accident. It's not like she just found a shawl and threw it on. And let's stop this and go to... There we go. And in the darkness, you just hear... Starts out slow and builds, and the percussion just absolutely is blowing over you. It builds to a point in the performance where, I mean, Bright, your floofs are wibbling around in the air displacement from these drums, as she's just da 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 da, and she has like a third one out, and she's like whirling like a one woman like taiko drum set and such on the stage, and you were just getting this performance, and oh, she's magical, as there's some other instruments that sound like they're playing, but she's the only one performing on the drums. And as this happens, and as the intensity grows, the cloak sheds, and she goes down through these layers, until it's not her in the buff, but it's her in some very basic clothing, like she's going back through time from a nice reformed civil complex pattern you can see in the dark, to an earlier age until she's kind of like cave woman style, like what we might imagine, very primitive clothing, and she just has she's a sweat going and is breathing, but as she's breathing she's also huffing along with the drums, and the performance is just she's the only one making noise, she's the only one who can, but even looking around, I mean, jaws are slack because of the performance, or just because if you don't open your mouth, the air pressure in your ears will blow out, so you gotta vent it somehow, like who knows. And it reaches a climax, and it stops, and continues again, but slowly diminishes, like a powerful thunderstorm that's just giving out. And it slows down, and it slows down. And she's performing along with this as well, as she's showing signs of being tired, at least in her body language. Whether or not she actually is, she's putting on a good show. Until you come down to the last little 2 beats, and she lays them out, and she stretches. And then she lays down beside her drums, and it does a very kind of corny play acting, like me 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 me. She's hamming that part up, and at that, the staff goes and starts lighting some of the lanterns around, and we're now in dim light. Another minute later, back into bright light equivalent from candles and lanterns. And she gets up. For a moment, there's a little bit of an immodest pose as she's kind of gathering herself up. Just kind of shrugs to the audience, gathers her things, and gives a big bow with one of her mallets. And then she just starts putting everything back on and packing up, and like it's no big deal. People are coming up and they're giving her money. It's going right onto the stage, and
I make sure to applaud her very overtly.
Manager comes out. Rakami Thunderdrums, everyone. Well, it's a pleasure to have her here. Rakami, are you going to be performing here for a while longer? Yes. Probably for a week. It depends. She says rather shortly. She's still a little short of breath, too. Definitely not short on height or muscles. There you go, folks. Come back and see Rakami Thunderdrums continually outperform herself every night she's here, right? And she kind of looks over. Yes. All right, last orders. Come on, we don't want to keep our wait staff waiting, even though it's in the name. And people are putting in something to take for the road, or kind of like a last snack or a last drink. Mr. Halvar was appreciative, and he goes and he apparently just put like a handful of gold into a container. Comes back. Well, that was magnificent, wasn't it?
Quite. I can't hear you.
It was just we're all just still a little deaf from the performance. Did she seem a little weird to you guys?
What? How do you mean weird?
She just seemed a little robotic. You know, like she might be under someone's control.
Shall I go check it out?
I think you should. I'll go with you, but I can't really do anything except look. Actually, take Piggy Sue. She can sit on your shoulder or in your hair like she does for me, and then I can watch through her.
Perfect. Then I'm putting a cricket on my head, and then I am going to gonna go follow Rakami to wherever she's going. I do. I'm going to. And when it's my turn, I'll go ahead and throw, I guess, 5 gold into her thing and tell her fabulous performance tonight.
You're muted, Banner.
There we go. So she looks back, sees you put the 5 gold in. She gives you a wink and shimmies one of her hips, in a very generous, if not clothed display. But she comes over and she leans down. Definitely. I mean, she's not trying to be sultry, but she does seem like she's trying to get a little bit of extra here at the end of the performance. Thank you. Ah, your horns. They're magnificent, almost like my tusks. And she smiles really wide. Although I
That's
bet
not real.
mine are longer.
I'm sure. Have you had any competitions recently?
Competitions?
I'm a
Do you
performer
mean
myself.
someone who tries to outplay the drums?
Of course.
No. No one has tried to compete against Rakami.
Do you accept challenges?
Would I still win?
Would you still win?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Oh. I'll have to think on that then. It's been a while. I've been traveling far too long. This has been a good release for me.
Traveling?
Yes. Oh,
From where?
not really from where, all around Mesomaska. I suppose ultimately from Kandor at some point in time.
But you've been everywhere, pretty much?
No. Far too much. If anyone has seen more of anywhere than I, it has been the Healing Words. Have you heard of them?
I've heard of them.
Very famous band in Aslandia. I'd love to go there sometime. Have you been?
Aslandia is not all it's cracked up to be. I'll give you that.
I don't know. I think there are many cracks in Aslandia.
There's lots of sand.
Oh, yes, so you must cover yours.
Are you up for a challenge tonight?
No, not tonight. Looks down into the box. It's been a generous night, but I must gather my earnings, and I have some shopping to do tomorrow. Very, very tired. I mean, she still has a glow about her of sweat. Perhaps another time.
Will you be here You will be here tomorrow, yes?
Yes. Unless I'm not.
What would take you away from this fabulous establishment?
Me leaving.
Where are you going? Where would you go?
I don't know yet. I suppose I'd have to find out. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll be here for about a week. And in the
Fair enough.
meantime, I play. I'm not called Rakami Thunderdrums for no reason.
Matty, have I heard that name before?
Yes. Well, ooh. Would you have heard that name? Oh, yes, you would have. Because they stopped by when you were burying a certain someone.
I thought so. And so... How do I word this? Do you travel alone?
No. Would be foolish, especially in this age. There are threats
Quite.
everywhere.
Quite. Are
No.
any of your...
I travel with friends.
Are they here tonight?
Probably.
You don't know.
It could be difficult to tell. Some of them come and go very easily.
I know the type.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't, out of, like, either Grimhilder or any of them, though.
You have not... no one has obviously shown up. Like Grimhilder, it wasn't like, yeah, woo, go Rakami, or anything like her biggest fan. So she could have been here, but not to your knowledge in the circumstances.
Are you looking for some company tonight?
You have to get at the back of a very long line. Unfortunately, though, even the first man at the head of it should never share that privilege.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for your time.
And thank you for your hard-earned money. I'm glad that I was able to earn it from you.
Perhaps I'll win it back.
Go to bed, little boy. And she turns around and starts tending to, well, before that she shouts, anyone else who's going to give me money, do it now. I'm going to be leaving. And a couple people kind of jostle past, like, you sure took a minute, to you, Mordecai, as they all want to come up and give her some money and some praise. And at that point, she's kind of looking back and just talking to him, but she seems really eager to get going.
And I walk away. I walk back.
Are there any dwarves in the audience tonight?
No.
Okay.
I am doing a glance to see if there's anyone that I notice.
Okay. There's, besides Mr. Halvar and the others.
Alright.
Well, friends, I think it's time to go and rest our heads. We have a good breakfast to have, and you have to go mushroom picking for me. Beautiful weather for it, I'm sure. And if not, then I'll make sure it is.
Fair enough. Well, I recognize that name.
She recognized the name. She's part of Loki's party.
Yep. Sad she didn't bite. Oh well.
Well, with teeth like that, you don't really want her to bite.
That's
With
fair.
teeth like yours, you don't really want you to bite either.
So,
Let's just avoid all biting.
night's already
But always
fallen.
eating
Night
each other.
falls. You get some sleep. A nice uninterrupted minimum of 6 hours required for a long rest. However, I mean, y'all aren't in a rush. You can sleep in if you want. Doesn't hurt. Mr. Halvar's been kind of casual about the whole thing.
Yeah, I need to reconfooble my spells. Happening.
Alright.
So go ahead and do so, and I'll tell you what. I got to get up, and I'm going to use the restroom and take a quick little break anyway, especially because it's 1. So why don't we take about 10 minutes, and then we'll send you on a mushroom hunting quest for Mr. Halvar before you depart to wherever it is you're going to end up afterwards. All right. So this is a good time. Also, if you have to reconfigure your spells for the day, or do anything like that, then go ahead and do so, and then we can get you over there.